If anyone needed another reason to avoid starting a wildfire, they may want to consider the many impacts it can have on the local watershed and accompanying water supply. While recent fires in Washington County haven't become large enough to worry officials at the Washington County Water Conservancy District, District General Manager Zach Renstrom says it is something they constantly monitor. He also sat down with St. George News and shared some of the impacts that a large wildfire could have on the Virgin River watershed and area water supply.
The wildfire that would make me very nervous is those big, massive ones that cover, hundreds of square miles of land. And that would have a huge detrimental effect on our system if something like that happened. But if we had one of those massive fires that would impact a large area of our watershed, that would disrupt our operations substantially, and it would also affect the environment of the river. And so as a water district, we manage the Virgin River program, and so we try to do everything we can to make sure that the conditions of the river are such that the endangered fish and the other dangerous species around the river are protected and thriving. And if we had a massive wildfire and then the runoff from that would affect that environment and greatly, hurt those fish and that environment. We capture that water out of the Virgin River and we bring it into our lakes. The tough thing is that water becomes much harder to treat because there's a lot of ash and silt in it, and so it's harder to treat that water, and also the chemistry of the water changes. And so right now our system is set up for our typical watershed, and if also we had a large shift of a lot of silt and sand and debris and other things kind of coming off, and the chemistry of the water changing, it would cost us substantially more money to treat that water, and unfortunately we'd have to pass that cost on to the average water user. So your water bill would go up substantially just because it's so much more difficult to treat that water.
Renstrom said one of the best ways to help prevent wildfires from threatening watersheds is by getting the federal government to allow its people to practice better forest management.
This is one that I think could be averted. It's not like an earthquake where we know there's not a lot we can do. This is one of those things that if we could go in and manage our forests and make them healthy, then we could avoid this for forever. That's something I really would hope to see, is better forest management. But right now with all the environmental regulations and everything like that, it makes it very difficult for them to do that.
To learn more, read the story. This is Mori Kessler reporting for St. George News, your #1 source for local news.